This is Robert Bertolacci with C21 Canada. We're here at the C21 Canada Summit, second annual at the Kingsbridge Centre in King City, Ontario, just north of Toronto, and have the good fortune of having a mind-share moment with Ann Sherman, who is the Dean of the Faculty of Education at the University of New Brunswick. Thank you for joining me this afternoon.
Thanks, Robert.
Well, you came from afar. You hadn't attended last year's. This is your first year at the Summit. Perhaps you can reflect on some of the people you connected with and your time in the last couple of days and what it's been like in terms of enlightening you with some of the conversations around advocacy and 21st century learning and where we're going.
Sure. Yeah, I had hoped to attend last year, but had just broken my leg, and so I wasn't able to make it here. But had a long association with John Kershaw, and had talked to him at length about 21st century learning competencies. And so I'm very supportive of the kind of work that the group is doing, and that the Summit promotes. And the real delight for me is to see government, business, and education people here together, because we know that no single group of us can promote this in a broad enough way to really embed it in the sort of public psyche, the interest of everyone. We all have a lot of experience with schools, and we all have very different understandings of what schools should be. And so it's interesting for me to hear today the different kinds of strategies that people are trying, that people are promoting. We heard examples from school districts who are doing amazing things. We heard the desires of business for the kinds of skills their graduates need to have, our school graduates need to have to fit into the marketplace, and heard from deputy ministers and other people in government about the kind of wishes that they have for the success of all children.
And if we look at it from a national perspective, because you're representing the president of the National Association of Faculties of Education, there has been talk about how they need to change, and some are lagging behind, if you will. You spent time in Calgary as being there, so you've got a national perspective. Perhaps you can share with us your thoughts on the transformation and how do you accelerate that?
Sure. The Canadian Association of Deans of Education represent 61 different faculties of education in Canada, and we meet twice a year as a group. Between 35 and 45 deans get together, and we talk about national issues and the kinds of things that we're all facing as we try to educate pre-service teachers, but we also all work with in-service teachers and try to either through graduate programs or other kind of professional development.
Right.
So we're dealing with this all the time, and of course we also have to keep up ourselves. Many of us, most of us in fact, were teachers, and we have to develop our own 21st century skills. I'm talking about far more than just technology here.
Absolutely.
But the
that's one sliver of the bigger
That's just
pie.
one. Yeah, it's a tool. I always say technology won't make a bad teacher good.
No.
It'll give a good teacher even more opportunities to be more innovative and creative. And so our professors also have to make that transformation, and many have, and many are still in the midst of doing it because change is difficult for people.
Absolutely, and it can't happen in isolation.
No, and it can't happen overnight. It takes a great deal of time. So at that Canadian Association level, we talk about these big issues and have written agreements or accords on a number of issues that affect us all. And this is one that I believe that we're going to need to take and look at as a national group of Deans of Education.
Well, fantastic. Well, we hope to have that group join us on board next year for this summit again. And best of luck for your travels back to New Brunswick. And thank you for joining me this afternoon.
Great. Thanks, Robert.